front of me, but we are back. Let's try not to. Wait. My bad. Okay, so we beat Micah. Let's go about hunting down that galactic. This way. There he is. Oh, I'm just gonna choose now. Dude, it's not eavesdropping if you're talking to yourself in a public area. Don't want to battle you a little bit. I'm just going to. Wait, got Babymon? The barrel looking. It's scary to deal with. Trying to stop a criminal and getting in the way. Three more levels. go to the thing, and then it takes us up to this little gray city in the mountains here. I'm using my mouse on my screen. Can't see that. Takes us up to the little gray city in that mountain there. But the next gym is in the large square that is under it, directly under it. Anyway, I am going to fly instead of running around. All that. And we're gonna yell. So now that we're all healed up. What the? I'm button mashing. Oh. Okay, we're extra healed now, guys. Armand should be at like 200% in battle ready. So we double healed. That's how that works, right? Okay. There we go. Walk away. Walk away, Jack. To do this. Let us. It's not like a side quest. But I won't. Maybe it's not. gone. We got Aura. Aura's all we need. I paid money to be in here. We gonna get some mods. Yes, male whooper. Let's name you Fred. Box. not rare mod. Quality. So cute. So cute and sad. Actually, this one doesn't look that sad. Not happy, not sad. Up in the decks. Excellent. Yes. Baby character. From a bug. But let's name him Sam. And you're going to the box, bud. Sam. Frodo's ever loyal companion, Sam. Someone's jumped. Not me. Merle. Alright, so since please spell right for me. Hey Siri. How do you spell Frodo?
Frodo Baggins. F-R-O-D-O space B-A-G-G-I-N-S.
Thanks. Thank you, Siri. I always do that, like. desks still. So that we can, actually evolve our Dean. We can't evolve Dean to post. We're going to have to look into this. I love Miss Magpius, but I don't think Mr. Fitz. It's not going to be a reward. So you best hope we can find this. Repel. Joel? You gonna send out a Zubat? Let's just stick it out. Let's go. He's got this. I believe in him. Let's do something a little more fun inside game though. And a little nervous. Nerve. Look at that. I didn't need to be nerve. Maybe I did. Well, never mind. But Dean did it. Okay. One more level and Rose should be evolved to fully evolve. That would give us 2 fully evolved mons. That'll be nice. Get out. Oh, you still got more? Dang it! Last one, okay. I was wondering if he's got a whole thing of 6. Excellent. Double battle up there. Last double battle we had with Ace Trainer class. It was almost a massacre. Okay, Ponyta. Are gonna get Dean out of there though. With that one there. Excellent. Hey Alexa, change my 9 a.m. alarm to 8 a.m. please.
Changing the next 9 a.m. Now set for 8 a.m. tomorrow. Do you want to change the time for this alarm for every day?
Hell no.
I don't know.
No, don't change it for every day.
Does not answer your question. There are approximately 156,021 deaths per day across the globe.
Why would I want to know that, Alexa? Silence. Bitch don't know. Alexa, tell me a random Pokemon fact.
According to Wikipedia, Phantasms evolved over 901 fictional species of collectible monsters, each having unique designs, skills, and powers. Conceived by Satoshi Tajiri in the early 1989, Pokemon are creatures that inhabit the fictional Pokemon world. The designs for the multitude of species can draw inspiration from anything such as animals, plants, mythological creatures, and inanimate objects.
901.
900 plus, one equals 901.
Alexa, go to bed. You're drunk. Go to bed. Oh. I got caught up with her. We need Rose. And we're just going to flamethrower out of here. Excellente. Rose, you're so close to that nice 30, and I'm pretty sure that's when you evolve. I could be wrong. Oftentimes I'm wrong. Oh, somebody. Yes! Oh, Ara! Oh, my beautiful! Oh, beautiful! Oh. Look at her! Oh! Elegant, beautiful, and powerful. Ara is now a Gastrodon. I love it! Did he just say something about I look confident? Let me basically, I didn't catch that, but to me it sounded like I'm too confident and I need to be brought down a peg or two. Which, you know what, I am a little cocky after that Marlene fight. The second time, you know, she knocked us down, but that second one did make me a little cocky because we went in there, we were dying left, right, and center, and then we managed to pull through with sheer dumb luck. So yeah, I'm a little confident now. Why didn't I just bring out Rose? So confusion. Oh, we got the. Good boy. Dean's 30. Excellent. And Patrick's 32 now. Patrick should be evolving soon. Soonish. I don't know what Leech Seed is nice because it's a continuous draw. Let's so in theory, I don't know if oh, I don't know what I did. So in theory, the way my brain is thinking that Mega Drain works is if I hit Mega Drain, but the opponent does not hit me, then it doesn't work. But Leech Seed would always work. But Leech Seed also works if Patrick goes down for the rest of the team. That's a team move. Let's do it. Team player. Gotta think of the team, Patrick. Okay. Let's go. Dark and electric type. Let's stay. Ooh, drop there. Let's just do a psychic. Oh, I forgot. Okay, something else. Okay, Nora, that's good. And now I get my intimidate. Excellent. Okay, that works for me. Onyx. Onyx is a rock type. Let's see her. Let's see her. Ladies and gentlemen, our newly evolved Aura! Let's see that ice moving animation. Oh, that is nice. That is a nice animation right there. Gorgeous. Yep. Oh, we were talking about him evolving soon, and here we go. Patrick has reached his full potential. Not really, because it's not Earthquake. Once he gets Earthquake, that's full potential. Oh, damn! That's my thick boy! Oh, there we go. Earthquake. So he learns it naturally. So when I find the TM... Okay, we want this. So when we find the TM, it's going to Aura. Possibly. There's 2 Earthquakes better than none. What? Oh, you son of a bitch. Thank goodness. We got such... Oh, then again, if we have to come up all this way, them giving us a nice 6 level wiggle room. Because Marlene and Crash were literally like 2 routes separated, like back to back. So the fact that we were limited on any levels on certain mods makes sense. The fact that we have such a wide variety now definitely makes sense. How many people look? Oh, we're definitely getting rid of Tail Whip for Stomp. Not even. Agility, I'm keeping on just because it's nice for now. She doesn't have much else going for her. We got the powerful fire type moves on her already. So we're just kind of looking to see what kind of coverage we can add to her at this point. And maybe she could get Earthquake. Maybe she could get Earthquake? I don't know. Okay. Maybe the issue was it fixed itself. I just noticed the CPU was red. Something wasn't quite going on. Then again, everyone's now in the house is now turned in for the night, so everyone's streaming Netflix and stuff. Shadow Ball. Excellent. Let's get that on Dean. Not right away. I want to check something. So. Diamond, Shining Pearl. Dusk Stone, location. Second ring in Victory Road. pick up. Veilstone. This is what we need, Veilstone. Oh no, that was just so HQ. So there's one in the Galactica HQ. So as soon as we get that one, Dean is evolved. So it looks like Dean's going to get a chance to encounter Miss Magnus, and he's going to be a permanent member. Not sure about Rose, and Nora's pretty much earned her place. Unless something absolutely amazing comes around. The 30s are good to us. We're gonna have a fully evolved team in the 30s, man. Except for Dean. Dean, we probably won't be able to get to them probably till tomorrow when we take on the galactic stuff. Close combat. Really good fighting. Yeah. Let's go. Close combat's really good. Oh, stupid, I didn't see it. Just want the Pokeball. And they know that. That's why they put the little shit there. I didn't catch your name. Nathan. It's always the Nathans. Always. Always the little shits. Oh. Always. Why? I'm sorry if your name's Nathan and you're not a little shit, but in my experience, Nathans are little shits. They're always pushing the boundaries, they're always breaking the rules, they're always just getting on the teacher's nerve. It's always the Nathans. Well, let's go Psychic. This scares me. Get back in the city. I have a question. So, natural progression. We are in our 30s. Like, we're in our early 30s. Why are we still in beating trainers at level 25? Like, shouldn't they be at least, like, 27, 28? It's a natural progression of the game. Like, I haven't sat and grind or anything. It's just natural progression of the game, and I'm in my early 30s. So, I don't know, levels are always weird in Pokemon games. People have been saying for years, hate Nintendo. Oh my god, another grid. There we go. I'm dropping frames. Ooh, I've dropped so many frames. We're dropping frames. If it gets overly bad, we get to 15% frame drop rate. Why is this? Just get back down. Okay. I might have to start streaming earlier. Oh, my time. I start at 6 my time. So if I stream any earlier, I'm going to eat dinner either ridiculously early or ridiculously late. So we'll play around. We'll play around with some stream times. I'm in the process of getting myself into a routine. So when we're playing around with times, that's just something we'll do as well. Is play around with when is the best time to stream. Also, I'm doing an extremely long stream today. Normally, we would have ended stream like 3 minutes ago, if not a little earlier, just because that's generally like a 3.5 hour stream. It is usually more uncomfortable at, but I'm behind schedule by 2 gems because I took yesterday off. So now I have to punish myself by filling in the gaps. So I think we're not going to do the 6th gem today. I said possibly the 6th gem. I didn't expect Marlene to take as long as she did because she kicked our ass. So what we're going to do is we'll probably end it off with Santina. Theme. And then we'll just do 3 gems tomorrow with the galactic stuff, and then Elite 4. And then Elite 4 for I have 2 more days scheduled for finishing this project. So however it ends up going, on Monday, we will be finishing. Regardless of how long I have to stream for the next 2 days. I'm gonna have to get some beauty sleep, and tomorrow I'll have to be up bright and early for shop run, so that's gonna be fun. I'll have to take a nap. Split pain. No. I have my moveset for you, kind of where I want it. Oh, I don't have surf yet. There's berries up there that I want. I want them. Weasel. Weasel's just hanging out with Dean, by the way. But, not anymore. I think he's out. You know what? There it goes. Sorry, Dean. Right. Weasel. Let's see, Patrick. My baby boy's all grown up. Would this be overkill? Let's do it. Destroy the weasel. Feel the power of my Patrick. Especially since Dean's dead. Epic. Reaches Earthquake again. This is too OP! Earthquake's always been one of my favorite, just because of how powerful it is. I'm like, look at it, like clean sweep. Granted, we're higher leveled, so that Volt Switch. Volt Switch is nice, because if we need it in a pinch to get out of a situation while still taking damage, not giving damage. Let's do it. So we have a move that charges, a move that attacks, another stat counter attack. Let's do it. We need it. I think that's good. Good moveset on him. I have to got this. There we go. Alright, so we're going to just take this. Take my berries. It's not stable again. It's excellent. There's a little thick up there, but our internet seems to be stable. Heal. Really need to heal. Okay, let's go. There's an the nerve ball. If only I were younger. That's Danny. Let's go. You're not gonna blow up the town, you terrorists. Let's go. Let's go. We're gonna suck it. Life. Excellent. What are we gonna send out? What's coming out? Rose is so close. Hold on. Let's go Rose.
Let's see if this will be a fight that pushes her to evolve.
Excellent. No blowing up this small little town. And there's the evolution right there. Excellent. Who are we waiting for to evolve? Dean. Is that it? Who's Dean? What? Hold up. I've been robbed. Hey Alexa, what level does Ponyta evolve at?
Here's something I found on the web. According to fandom.com, Ponyta is a fire-type Pokemon who evolves into Rapidash at level 40.
Fuck. It's 40, not 30. I'm stuck with this useless, stupid Ponyta for 10 more levels. I'm angry at this stupid horse. Oh, what's going on? I see red, I see red, I see red. Don't drop. Come on. Okay, yellow. Yeah, there we go, green. This stupid horse. There we go. Oh, there you go, Annie. The Lake Guardians. Excellent. Oh yes, I found something useful. You take this. Okay, she gave us some TMs. What are they for? Surf. So she gave us Surf, but we can't use it until we got Fantina. Hurry up and get off my screen. Excellent. However, the palace seems to be available here. Yes, Cornet, if you discover any power derived from the legends, don't inform me. Why would I inform you? I don't know who you are. I don't work for you. What's in it for me? You don't pay my bills, you don't feed me, you don't... So what? Why? Who are you? And why should I do anything for you? Okay, I'm gonna just fly here. You know what? I'm not tired, and the next two gyms are back to back, so we're gonna go. We're gonna go to the 6. F it. We're gonna go to the 6 gym. Where's the gym? We're gonna heal. Heal my mind. Okay, so we have 2. Ponyta and Dean. That they're not doing anything for us right now. Because they're not evolved. Okay. Ghost. Is Nora out? Nora's not out front. Okay, let's... Her ace is 36. Double check that. Double check here. Give me a moment. 36. My strongest right now is 34. So, I think it would be... we're just gonna go for it. 15. We're just going for it. If we need to, we will, battle the gym later. The gym trainer. That's 40. Look at that. I will not be hindered by my learning this point. 39. Aha! Qualifications are my worst, and I got that right. Oh, yeah. This is. Oh, what? It was the 15. Excellent. Let's go. Ready to rumble. Let's go. We can just pump out the next 2 gym leaders. That would be nice. Then we will be on schedule. And I won't have to spend so much time streaming over our allotted. And look at that, we're only like half an hour over our time. Intimidate. This gym has aftermath, so I need to be careful. Okay, we're going for the close combat. Fighting Fight doesn't affect ghosts either. I forgot that. I thought it was just normal. You didn't seem to have done anything to Nora. So Aerial Ace. Oh. So, I don't know if Nora's gonna be able to do this. Okay, so I can't hit it. Burn heal. What once I use a berry? Excellent. This is why you hoard berries. Bitch. Okay. I don't know if my strategy's gonna work here, people. This triplet falling is from the start. Okay, here's my chance to get rid of this burn. Right. Get rid of the burn. Excellent. Maybe we should plant a few berries. going to take this time. Heal up. Heal up again. Now we're back. Full health. I don't get how people who don't use healing items and don't over level do this. Okay. Do I predict the heal, or do I just say F it and go for it? I'm gonna predict the heal. I'm gonna predict the heal. Yeah. Okay. At least, okay, so we wasted the potions on the driftwood. I don't have any revives. We need to. No! Oh my god! I'm a dum-dum! I wasted that. That was my opportunity to get rid of the burn. I am a dum-dum. Dum-dum-dum-dum. What? Alright, 10 more of these. This was not smart. This was not smart. Okay, it flew. We're healing next turn. Yeah. We're gonna give a free. Got hyper potion here. Use it. This is my strats, guys. This is. Oh, should have hit it. Okay, we're gonna double team. Who knows? Maybe the fly will miss. Okay. Or not. There! Okay, it's down. Aftermath. Okay. Okay. It's down. It's down and out. It's down. Oh my god. we're switching. Let's go to Rose. Okay. I want Dean still, so I don't want to switch to Dean just yet. Rose is going to be who I feel Nora with. Okay, so we come to bag. And go super potion. Nora's ready to go for her ace. Who's ready? Who's ready? Rose is taking one for the team right now. There's no I in Team Rose, so let's just go for it. I want to save Nora for Ace, so we're bringing out Dean. And we're gonna Psychic. If we lose this, your cursed body. Something was disabled. I can't use Psychic. There goes Dean. Okay, Harry. Okay, Harry. I don't think Dark works on Ghost. So, we're going to Thunderbolt. Okay, he's gonna confuse Ray. Okay. This is a massacre. Okay, Thunder. Oh! Go. We're gonna stay in with him. And just see. Because if Harry can pull this off, props. But we have Nora waiting in the wings ready to go, and Nora's PP on the only move that can hit, it's not good because she had to deal with the stall of the Drift Bloom. So if Harry can get this, we're good. Thunderbolt. That is sound advice. Never give up. No matter what bullshit lies thrown at you, don't give up. That is sound advice. Aha! Let's go. That's how we do it. That is how we do it. And Patrick gets a nice level up there. So we're going on. We're gonna take on the next gym badge. Because this is... She's 5, right? Please tell me she's 5. Yeah, because we had Rourke and Gardenia. Then we took Maylene. Then we So now we're going on to Byron. And we're just gonna... And then we have to go through all of this. Why don't we have just a warp panel that takes us right out? Stupid math gym. Okay. Oh, Cynthia. I'm glad to see you. You're not very easy to track down. You give me something? You're just gonna talk to me. Yeah, they're dangerous terrorists. You should, as a champion, you should probably do something about that. Not me, a small 10-year-old child. Excellent. Yeah, I'm gonna go continue on my Pokedex. No, I'm not. I'm just doing gyms. Alright. Let's see. Shadow Claw is Sunday. Yeah, Shadow Ball is stronger. Okay. Oh, decided. 80, 100. Yeah, this is the right move. Okay, then we have Serve. If the target's HP is half or less, this attack will hit with double the power. Surf. Let's go Surf. For now. Oh, I don't want Damien. I'm starting to make stupid mistakes. I'm tired. What was it, 60? Oh yeah. But I really want that stalled. And then what are these ones up here? Ace, Line, Drain Punch. Okay. Let's see what I want. So we're going to go here. Excellent. So let's go. We're gonna go. I don't think there's any interruptions. I think we're able to go right to the gem. But give me a minute. Give me a minute. You know what? I think it'd be very smart of us to go get that real quick. Because, let's take a look at something here, guys. It's a steel type gym, right? So, oh, we need a heal. So, Rose here is 31. She's our best bet for this gym. The Ace is 39. That's disgusting. So, we're gonna go here. And we're gonna clear the gym. That's gonna help us. And then we are going to beat the gym. if we need to do the Iron Isles, we will definitely do that because Rose needs some help. She needs some help. I love that noise. Okay. Let's go now. That we've healed and we can. Yeah. We're gonna do it one YOLO as well. Since we're gonna do all that work clearing out the gym, we might as well just do a YOLO as well. Just oh, I have to get off my surf. What do you want? I forget, you want. I asked my boyfriend to meet me here on, but he's nowhere to be seen. Okay. It's probably on this side somewhere. Man of the city. It's probably that kid right there. Being like, where's my girlfriend? She said to meet me here. Is she in here? Oh, thank you, your baby mine. I'm just gonna realize. She needs some help. Garrett. Oh. Thank you. Are you on your guys? Or is it just me?
Oh, look at that. We just did a Intimidate exchange. Get out.
Alright. That literally did nothing to help Hanata. Boy. Name is here. What? So my girlfriend's on the other side? Yeah. You saved me. Thank you. Take these. Okay. There we go. This is pretty much. We're in the city now. Oh, who are you? Kira, long time no see. Oh, you look. Yeah. Who are you? Oh, you're that guy. Okay, I remember. It looks like your Pokedex doesn't need upgrading yet, right? Toggle between. Yeah, there's definitely massive delay. Normally I have a little delay. What's going on? I just hit the button. Okay. So he's off my screen now. Okay, there is massive delay. More so than usual. Yeah. Okay, let's go. Let's go, loser. Yeah, Micah. Micah's challenging us. Oh. You failed. Yours hasn't evolved yet. Well, let's just close combat it. Is that a quick paw? Oh, it's a quick claw. Doesn't matter. You're gone after one move. No, it's not. I'm offended by this. Let's go. I'm hitting the wrong buttons. Again. I was trying to mute and unmute my mic so that I could have a drink. And I accidentally put this on. Heracross is bug. So let's send Rose out. I don't know if I should be watching my stream screen that shows me what's going on there, so that my commentary is in launch with that, or if I should be watching my actual other screen with the game. Like, Heracross is attacked. Like, it's all going on. I'm roasted. Shit. Proterra's going out. It's just so delayed. Do the fight. Okay, Heracross is off. Beautiful, beautiful. I don't like that accuracy. So yeah. And then have something that I could just turn and put as like a block on my wheels. Not for, oh, we need a switch. We're just gonna surf it up. Rose is dead. That's it. Let's let Dean handle this. I don't know what he'll be able to do, but let's let him. Where was I see that shadow ball. That's decent. That's decent. Sweet sound. Okay. I am. Oops. Man. A psychic it. Out of here. Patrick. There. Weasel. Barry. All about that Harry. Oh. We need to hurry up and get this last gem over. How long have we been red? That is. This is the last one. Some tails in. Yeah, I'm telling you I lost. 'Cause you lost. Okay, we need to go. I don't know why I thought I had to go down. You know what? I'm just gonna play from here. You know what? I don't need to be up close and personal with my camera. Over. This is why I should have game tired. So we're gonna see a lot of Steelixes and Onyx and shit like that. So if it's an Onyx, we're gonna switch to Aura. If it's a Steelix, we're gonna keep Rosa. That's our strategy here. And hopefully get. That's just tunnel. If I wrap this. Wrap that around the wheel and stop it. Let's see. Let's find out. Nope. Not that it matters, because I need you to fight me. Okay. Those are creepy. I'm trying to keep an eye on frame rates and stuff. Streaming when everyone is tucked all nice in bed. Not very smart because they're all using Netflix. Okay. This must be. What I think we're gonna clear the gem. We're gonna see if we can our frame rate can last to finish up where we are. I am tired. It's been a while. We started we're in red. Frame rate's low. We started at just 6 and it's now 10:25. We had a hiccup where my system shut down because something went to update, and I wasn't paying attention to that. So like, we did pretty well. Thank you. Heavy in the red. More heavy with this light. Yeah. Okay. So, we accomplished the 3 gems we wanted to today. I think that's good. We're well onto the way to Gym 6. So, we're gonna wrap it up here. We are in a good place. Rose needs to get her levels up because she's our answer to this gem. But she's not very good. She might be our answer, but she's not a very good answer. So we're just going to figure out where to go with Rose, if Rose is going to become a permanent team or not. If you think you have another option for what to replace Rose with, let me know. I'm considering a Gibble, but I don't know where to find it. I don't Gibble's Gen 4. I don't know where to find it. So, if you know, let me know. I made a boo-boo with this. I have not been recording. So I'm going to have to figure out how to take this stream from where I store it on Twitch, so we have something on YouTube. So until then, we might just have to miss this part. I'm sorry. Forgive me. Anyway, have a wonderful, wonderful night, guys, or early morning, depending when in the world you are, and Happy New Year's. Stay safe, Be kind to yourself and others. And I'll see you tomorrow.